In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to set up your files for wedding invitation design in Adobe Illustrator. Illustrator is my favorite platform to design wedding invitations, and here's an example of a full suite that is designed, ready to go, and I'm going to show you how we get from absolutely nothing on our file to something like this. Specifically, we're going to create a template that looks kind of like this. It'll look a little different because we're creating it together, and then you can put your designs on it and decide which pieces are perfect for yourself. And then you can get to something beautiful like this. So as you can see, I like to move things around a little while I'm designing and play with things. So how do we get from creating your file to something that looks like this as a template? So first, let's talk about the building blocks of Illustrator. We have our document open, and then within it, we have these individual white rectangles. These are called artboards, and you can think of artboards as individual pages. So each page of your design will have its own artboard. As an example, you see here the invitation, the details card, the envelope liner, the vellum wrap. You may not can see the lines of that artboard. They all have their own artboard. Now, artboards can be any size that you want, and you can move them around. You can change them. They can't not be rectangular or square. They can't be any shape you want, but you can move them around to any size that you need. You can very easily add more. Just click on this little plus to add more. You can also delete them just using the delete button. This button we clicked over here is just the artboard tool, so that makes the artboards kind of active, and you can see that the gray turns a little bit lighter in that case. And when you click on something, you're clicking on an artboard versus when you're in the regular direct selection tool, you're clicking on an element and the artboards are static. You can also go into the artboards window to do this, and you can do things like, let's see, artboard 1 is our envelope liner, so you can rename them as well. And as you can see over here, it changed to 1 envelope liner. You can rearrange them if you want, so that now artboard 2 is the envelope liner. And if you need to find that artboard panel, it's just in window and then artboards. So how do we create this file in the first place? So let's go to File, New. And there's all these kind of templates and recently created files that you could use. These print ones, for instance, there's letter, legal, A4 size. If you like any of these, fine. I don't like them, so I'm not really going to use them. And I think it's important you know how to create these things on your own. So when I'm creating a file, I'm going to use whatever size I need for the most artboards in that file. So as an example, in this file, we have 7 total artboards. 3 of them are 5x7 and the other 4 are different sizes. So we'll just go with 5x7 and create 7 different artboards. There's lots of different units you can work in. I just like inches personally. And then if you need to switch these for any reason, just switch here and you can see it switched to 7x5, switch it back really easily as well. If you don't know much about bleed, watch our other video on it, but for stationery design, we typically use 0.125 inches on all 4 sides. This background content is brand new in 2026. I don't recommend using it because it is a printable layer. So if you have a background color for your artboards that you really want to print, then go ahead and use it. You can add a custom color, you can do black or white. However, in most cases, we don't want the background of the artboard to actually print. Even if we're simulating colored paper on our design, we don't want that to print a block of red. So in that case, I typically recommend just sticking with transparent. And then in advanced options, we always want CMYK for anything that's printing. If it's going to go on a screen, like a social media graphic, you can use RGB. And then we always want our raster effects to be 300 DPI. If you don't know about raster versus vector, again, watch our other videos on that. So we'll click create, and we're going to get 7 artboards that are evenly spaced, and they're all 5x7. So how do we kind of change this to look like this? Now, I showed you when you go into your artboard tool, you can typically kind of move them around, change the sizes, etc. So let's start with 1 being our wedding invitation, and then we'll do our envelopes next. So these are really easy. They are still 5x7. They're just a different orientation. So I can just click this and it changes it to the 7x5 landscape orientation. So this is kind of the front and the back of the envelope. You can use any of the align features in Illustrator on the artboards as well. So align, horizontally align, you can distribute them just to make the spacing between them as even as possible if it's going to bother you if they're like off a little bit. I kind of love that you can move them around and do whatever you want, but if you want them to be really structured, use those align tools. Next, let's do our envelope liner. And if you go up here, the X and Y is the position of the artboard. If you wanted to change this, move it to the left 2 inches, you could just change this from 2 to 0. It's going to move it to the left 2 inches. Something that's really fun is you can also do math in these. So X and Y is the position, W and H is the width and the height. And if you wanted to just double the width, for instance, you can do times, which is an asterisk, 2, and it's going to double the width to 10. So obviously 5 to 10 is not that hard, 5 times 2. But if you needed to do more difficult math, you can even do like divided by 2, divided by 3, and it's going to divide that artboard size by 3. So we want ours to be 7 by 9.25 for our envelope liner, and that's just for the envelope liners that I typically use. You can use whatever size works for you. Now I'm going to do my details card. Again, use what sizes work for you. I'll use 3.5 by 5. RSVP card, I typically do a 4 bar, which is 4.75 by 3.5. And then this one is 5 by 3.5. And I like to keep them near each other, like RSVP envelope, front and back of these envelopes. I like to keep things kind of in a certain order. So then you can see how something like this eventually kind of became something like this. Obviously, some things have been moved around, some things have been added, like this vellum wrap. I don't need it on every job, so I don't have it in my template, but you can just add that very easily. This is an example of a ribbon color, and I just made a square. It's not even on an artboard, just to give an example of that color. I do want to draw attention to these red lines. So if I press Control or Command 0 and zoom in on the selected artboard, in this case artboard 1, then I can see that the artboard is all of the white. So if we look at that, the white, you can see that outline is 5 by 7. But the red is a little bit bigger. So the white is the final cut size of your piece, and the red is going to be your bleed. If you were to have an element that went right up to the edge of your cut piece, like this square for whatever instance, you don't actually want it to go just to the edge of your cut piece, but you want it to go all the way to the bleed. Again, if you need an explanation of what bleeds are and their purpose, definitely check out our other video. But in general, just remember, if you need something to bleed off the edge of the page, it needs to go not to the edge, but all the way to the red line. And also anything between red and white can potentially be cut off. So make sure none of the really important information is there. If you need to change anything about your file, you can go into File Document Setup, and then you can change like your inches. You can also change your bleed, and you can see that the red lines will move out a little further. It takes a little catch up when I'm recording. Or you can just change it back to whatever you need. So now that we have our artboard set up, I like to add a few more things as placeholders to my template. If you're creating your first template ever, then I would just do your design. See what you need, see what kind of shapes you need, colors you need, text you need, etc., and see what's going to be helpful in the future. So for our blank invitation suite, we have a couple extra things. First, I have text, and this is mostly just a placeholder for me to remember that, oh, I need to make sure I add a time. I need to make sure I add this return address on the envelope. So I have placeholders there to make sure I go in and change that information for the new client. The way that you're going to add something like this is just click here on the T for text, draw your text box, and type whatever you need here. I also have a couple boxes for the background of the envelope colors. So as you can see, these go, you can see the white between the red within the red lines. So you see these don't have a box because you can see that red line. These have a box that goes all the way to that red line. This is just going to demonstrate the envelope color. So how you would add that is you just go up here to the shape rectangle tool and draw it out. Very simple. I like to use the same box for the front and back of the envelope when they're close together. And then you can make that whatever color you want. There's no reason your template has to be anything, it doesn't have to be nothing colored like mine. If you want to make it this pretty color, that's great too. And then you can draw one for the RSVP envelope. Now, when I'm actually designing, I'm going to go into my libraries and choose the envelope color that I need. So as an example, I have the Stationery Creative Cloud Library. It's got all of the popular vendors that we use, all the way from Arturo down to Wintex suede paper. So if, for instance, I know I'm going to get these envelopes from Cards and Pockets, I can just expand the Cards and Pockets, and all the colors that they offer are right here ready for me. So if I want to change this envelope to dusty blue, I can do that. If I want to change the RSVP color to emerald, I'll be able to do that as well. I'm going to link the Stationery CC library in the description for you. I've done all the hard work, so it takes a lot of time and effort out of your way. And you can use this library in any of your Adobe files, whether it's Illustrator, Photoshop, or InDesign. Another thing that I get from this file is my die line. So I usually use the same Printswell envelope liner. So this is the die line that I have in my template. And I also grab that from this library. So in my die cut shapes, I just go to Printswell, envelope liners, and then I grab the A7 option. So if I needed a liner that was not from Printswell, then I would just go and find that for the individual client here. If I needed something from Envelopments, or if I needed a shape from LCI, or something from Mingo Press, then I'm going to grab that from here. But typically I use the Printswell one. So that's the die line I will put in my template. And then this is just the front of the envelope. It's literally just a shape. Like you can see, it's kind of wonky. It's not even straight lines. It's a shape I kind of traced. And I have a lot of videos in the larger bundle about how to actually like make shapes in Illustrator. It's a little complicated to dive in right now, but this just shows what the envelope liner is going to look like actually in the envelope. So you can make sure you like the colors together and you like where it hits in case there's a specific design. You want to make sure you're cutting off things that are not important and not cutting off anything that's too important. That's just a shape I like to have in there because I know I'm going to use it, and then I will most often just go ahead and color it the same, whatever color I end up using for those main envelopes. So now that we have our template pretty much created, you've used this to create your sizes, your colors, your text, what you need. We're going to go ahead and save it as a template. So the first thing that I used to do was I would just save it as an AI file. So I have this blank invitation suite.ai. And this worked great. It's a blank invitation suite. And then every time I needed to create a new one, I would just add the new client's names, invitations, and save it as a file, and then make all of my changes. And then whenever I needed a new one, I would just open blank invitation suite again. Sometimes I accidentally saved over blank invitation suite because I made all the changes and forgot to revert back to the template. So now Adobe Illustrator templates actually have a lot more capabilities. So you can make a template out of pretty much any file. So all you do is you press save as, and you would go to AIT, Illustrator template. That one's called A and B invitations. So now I use my AIT version of the blank invitation suite. You can see it's a little different file type. It's an AIT file type. And when I open it, it's always going to open untitled. So that means I'm never going to accidentally save over the template. So I like using that template file. And then again, it's just really easy whenever you want to save a new file as a template, just click save as and select the Illustrator template AIT type of file. Here's our A and T one, A and B invitations one that we just did. So what you need on your file might be a little different, but I hope I kind of explained to you how artboards work, how you can move them around, what pieces you're going to need, and how to add things to your template so that it'll be really helpful every time you open it. And I hope you can understand how you get from something like this to a fully designed wedding invitation suite. You can see we've added a few different things in here, the ribbon, the vellum wrap. I think we've removed a few different things, and we've changed sizes and moved things around a little bit. And that just happens when you're designing. I'm like a chaotic designer, so I like to move things around a lot. But we end up in a really good place. And I like that Illustrator kind of lets you move things around so you can really see how all the colors and sizes and shapes are going to play together. So if you're curious about like how the liner is going to look with everything, you can kind of move it over here. Or if you want to separate all this green because it feels like a lot, you can move things around. So I really enjoy playing within my designs, and I hope this gives you a template base to work off that does a lot of the work for you, makes you a lot faster, but still gives you the flexibility to play within your designs. If you want to dive deeper in Illustrator and also see how we connect this with InDesign as well as Photoshop for wedding invitation design specifically, how we set up our files there, all the differences between all those programs, and what things we use those programs for to have a full cohesive set of skills to use for invitation design, then definitely check out the Adobe Creative Cloud bundle. I'm going to link it in the description of this video. Let me know what you think. I can't wait to see how you set up your files, and happy designing.